It's as though lately that things seem to happen unbidden of their own free will, as if my body knows the answer for how to respond to a situation before my psyche does, picking up context clues, understanding a situation, knowing what is going to happen before it happens. But I don't really know how to properly explain that feeling. It's almost as if I've lived the situation before and am reliving it, so I have a predisposition as to exactly how the things will be playing out. But that's just crazy, isn't it? However, I've also been noticing more people around me starting to be able to pick up on subtle cues that the universe is throwing out as well. Being able to pre-see things that are yet to happen. Things that are minor enough that they aren't something that would occur on enough of a regular basis, then it makes things that much more fascinating that they're noticed or pre-seen. And yet, I still find myself largely directionless. However, I'm feeling more and more as though directionlessness isn't such a bad thing, as in and of my current state, I can do basically anything that I desire, and things will find a way to work properly. So it is mostly a question of what is my most desired thing to do at any given moment. Currently, being desireless, the only thing I truly desire is entertainment. I'm here drawing squares on my monitor because I'm so incredibly bored. And nothing really captures my interest these days. Nothing in particular is something worth doing for an extended period of time to my psyche. You know, you get into a certain specific mindset or mood of, I want to do this thing, and then you're able to do that for X amount of time. Nothing hooks me like that, or at least I haven't found the thing that will hook me like that recently. So then it becomes a meandering feeling of aimlessness because nothing feels quite productive, but at the same time it is a meditation in learning to accept the fact that things are, it's okay to be somewhat directionless, because I will know what direction to take when the time comes. It's weird. This feeling of, I suppose, competency. And normally I would be hounding myself and saying, oh, I'm wasting time, but time is to be wasted. There's no such thing as a proximal understanding of life saying there is this one correct way of living. Everyone's situation is slightly different. Everyone's unique situation causes unique answers to form. So searching for a single answer is a foolish endeavor. These are the types of things that I find after having stared into a void for hours days, weeks, and finding that there is no anything staring back, as it were. What lies in the shadows will largely stay in the shadows, for it fears you just as much as you fear it, if not more. So if you have no fear, there is no reason for it to strike, as it is something that preys on fear. If there were more people that didn't react so harshly out of fear, the world would be a very different place. But fear is one of the strongest motivators to a lot of people. This causes reactions that are various and sundry and somewhat unexplainable. You see people act in ways that you wouldn't think that they would be capable of out of fear. It's really bizarre, but it's also the most logical thing in the world. A lot of things tend to logically follow, and this feeling of logical progression, this sense of logical contingency, is probably one of the only things that keeps humans going forward. A personal examination of the world makes us feel like we are having an impact even when we don't. Us staring into the past, trying to discern the future from it, and making our best guesses along the way, leads to people thinking things will be a specific way when there's no guarantee. I know this is rich coming from a person who was just saying, oh, it's possible that you could read the future, but as things stand, there is more to this world, I believe, than what we have answers for. Perhaps even that is a controversial opinion, but it is one that I find would be hard to disprove. For saying that there are things beyond our understanding would be something that would be the most reasonable explanation, as it has always been true of humanity. We are always learning, striving forward. Therefore, there is always something to be known, something to be gained, some undiscovered reality lurking around the corner, begging to be found, and yet not really necessarily asking, as it were. It's a strange overlap where you can have something that desires its own actualization, but either does not have the right language to express it or the means, therefore, or it is thinking itself too selfish for trying to actualize, when that is all that a person should be. And, well, I am one to speak on that as well, because I think myself greedy every time I try and become the me that I feel I am actually meant to be. But there's nothing quite like the feeling of finally learning something, overcoming something. That is the human spirit, is triumph over adversity, and becoming more than what you were at the beginning of a situation.